Hey, everybody. You know how we do. We come on in class. We sign the register. Let me just make sure that we don't get any trolls in this live. Let's save that so that we get no trolls in this live. There we go. Now, let me turn the camera around and hail up everybody as they enter the class. Mr. People, have you guys heard the news? Have you guys been following what is going on with that cruise ship? Have you heard the news? So let me take the background off as we warm up into the lesson. We're going to have an introductory chit chat on the various things that's happening in the world because this is serious. Good evening, good evening. Big up yourself, DJ Hot Porridge. Big up yourself. I see you. Dawn, my sister and admin has said, welcome one, welcome all to HDK's live. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Shanice Ramsey Folks, good evening. I see you. Live and let live. Big up your nice, clean self. Have you seen what's going on in the world? Before we get into Jayden. You see the case with the ship? Lala, big up yourself, sis. You see the case with the ship, the cruise ship? And the 3 people who lose, I must say 2 lose their life and 1 in a critical condition in the hospital. Some outbreak of a virus on a cruise ship. And the first person that died was a 70-year-old man, followed by his 60-odd-year-old wife. And those bodies were deposited in South Africa. Not yet. You haven't heard about it. Yo, a big news, a breaking news all over the place. Breaking news all over the place, my loves. Let me play this before so that you guys can hear what is going on, because that's quite serious, you know. I mean, luckily there hasn't been any reports of it on land in the UK or in the Caribbean or anywhere like that, but not yet. It has a long incubation period. So it's called a hantavirus. So let me just play this.
I would be worried because the incubation period for hantavirus can be up to a week. It can be very deadly. It can either take the form of a pulmonary disease, so it affects your lungs and your breathing, or it can be a hemorrhagic disease, affects your renal function, your kidney function. Both can be, extraordinarily serious. It's not easily spread from person to person.
Yeah.
The mode of transmission is really through exposure to the rodent droppings or their urine, or those droppings can be disturbed and they go in the air and you can breathe it in and get it. It's something that everyone who's in the area of a rat dropping could be exposed. The symptoms are depending upon what form you've got, the renal form or the pulmonary form. But if it's the pulmonary, it's difficulty breathing, for both fatigue, headache. It is a very dangerous situation for cruise ship passengers. I would be worried because the incubation period for hantavirus can be up to a week. It's possible that more cases will arise, and it's uncertain at this stage what preventive and precaution measures the cruise ship undertook. There's no antiviral or so-called cure, but you need really intense management of the disease. And so you have to get somebody into really intensive care quite quickly. This is something that really shouldn't happen on a properly sanitized and hygienic ship. I would be worried because
I would be worried. Yeah, so 3 people died.
I was meant to be on that shit, but I got a warning.
So this a guy.
So if you've been following me, you know I've been training.
He's been
captain of the ship this whole time.
See, look.
You know I've done charters. You know I've done cruises. You know I've done little sailboats. I was getting ready to deploy onto the ship. The MV Hondius looks real good, don't it? I was excited. Then a friend of mine, I went to school with him, posh white guy. He tells me, bro, miss the flight. Don't go on that shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been training for how many years to do my thing on cruise ships? And he said, bro, miss that flight. Do not get on that cruise. Later on, we find all those people on the cruise I was supposed to be on. They're trapped on that cruise now. 3 people have died.
Yeah.
One guy, he's in intensive care. They're supposed to be docking in Cape Verde, and they're like, no docking, no, dangerous.
They might take it as joke, but a serious
An
something.
adventure cruise cut short
3
by a
dead.
deadly outbreak. 3 people have now died aboard the MV Hondius as it sailed from Argentina to Cape Verde. The suspected cause, a rare infection known as hantavirus.
Often the first symptoms are flu-like, fever, headache, aching muscles and joints. It's only later when you get hemorrhage or you get severe respiratory involvement that it becomes very serious.
Officials are calling it a serious medical situation. On April 11th, a 70-year-old Dutch man died on board. Almost 2 weeks later, his body was sent for repatriation via St. Helena, accompanied by his 69-year-old wife. And within just 3 days, on April 27th, the company learned she also died. And then,
you see, and then them have cruise ship members who have been reported ill, and they can't come off of this cruise ship. Things are getting serious in the world, people. Some serious things are going on in the world. So, you know, when I say to people that this year for us is a staycation, and my husband's like, where are we going? Where are we going? And I'm like, we're not going anywhere. At least I'm not going anywhere. My kids aren't going anywhere, right? Because listen, the things that are happening since Trump come into power, the whole world has gone upside down and haywire. Because trust me, at Strictly Garden and Barbecue and Park, you hear? And the local seasides. That's where we're going this year. I keep in my money in my pocket because I don't know when I'm going to need it. Anyway, let me hail up everybody in the class before we get started on the main topic tonight, okay? That's it. Live and let live. Staycation year. That's what it is. And we have no embarrassment about that. No regrets. We are keeping money in our pocket, the people. Right. So let's go up to hail up everybody in the class. Live and let live. Big up yourself. Dawn, big up yourself. Shanice Ramsey, folks, I see you. DJ Hot Porridge, big up yourself. Lala, Misty Brown. Let's see who else is here. Jeanette Johnson, big up yourself. Yeah, it's rodent based. It's something to do with rodent feces and urine as well. You heard the guy said that if the urine turns into liquid, if the liquid turns into particles, then it can become airborne. It's quite scary when you think about it. You understand? Vanessa, big up yourself. And just as she says, remember to double tap the screen and like up the live. We're gonna go into the main topic tonight because people, when I tell you, say, even though I was out enjoying my birthday, I still could not help thinking about the Jayden Smith case. Eslyn, big up yourself. I see you. Rosemary, blessings in abundance. I see you. Thal, big up yourself. Yeah. Save that money for college or something that makes sense. Let me not tell you. Linda Hurst, as you say, good afternoon and justice for Jayden. So thank you so much for the belated birthday greetings, Asha. Listen, I was on my birthday celebration and I still could not take this case out of my head. And something dawned on me, something quite serious, and something that shows me just how deliberate these people are when it came to making sure that Jayden Smith's case did not get the priority attention that it was supposed to get. And that is why for the topic of this live, it's this. That is why for the topic of this live, we've got this, because I don't think people understand just how manipulative and how disgraceful the family of Jayden Smith actually was, right? Or are, because them still being disgraceful by not pushing for this. Let me tell you something. A lot of people are ignorant to the services that are in our island around missing children. A lot of people don't know what the procedures are and don't understand how things are done. We just think, picnic missing, report to the police, and I just say it done. You understand? And I need you to realize that in Jamaica, there are two different systems, okay? Both require investigation. Both require investigation, but one is more urgent than the other. And the different types of alerts are assigned on the basis of how serious a case is. How serious it is, how much the child is at risk. It is so much more than what we can imagine, people. So much more than what we can imagine. So while I was on my birthday celebration, it came to me. I said, hang on a minute. Hold on just one damn minute. Why didn't Jayden Smith get an Ananda alert? I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it and it kept pressing on me. I'm like, why? Why didn't Jayden Smith get an Ananda alert? I was reflecting on a lot of things, people. I was reflecting on the conversation that was had over on TikTok with the alleged lawyer who was not the lawyer. And I said to myself, why was she so blatant by saying that Jayden Smith is not her priority and he's not considered to be one of those children and she's only focusing on 10 families and Jayden Smith no factor? And me never too like that, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I understand, but me never too like it. And I was there reflecting and I was like, why is she insisting that Jayden Smith don't really? And then when she said that her focus was on the Ananda alert and the Ananda Dean story. And then I realized that all the cases that she would have been, and the rest of them would have been highlighting, would have been cases that received an Ananda alert, be it that they received justice or not. The significant factor in terms of the criteria of those children would have been an Ananda alert, because that would have put them in the system as children who were missing, but significant danger would have been around these cases for those children. Significant danger, significant risk. And I said to myself, so why? Why didn't Jayden have an Ananda alert? And I realized that the reason why Jayden didn't have an Ananda alert is because the family of Jayden Smith did not see it fit to push for an Ananda alert. Remember, we kept saying that this family keeps on painting the narrative that Jayden ran away. They keep on putting it out there that Jayden, remember, so them start morphing from being a good little boy to being a boy that is capable of absconding from going home and hanging out in a Mandeville and, up and down the place. Remember, there was a story about Jayden with chocolate bar and all them something there. And them I wonder if him get it from some friend, what them don't know about. So, by painting Jayden as some potential runaway, it reduces the criticality of the pending search from an Ananda alert to a high alert. From an Ananda alert to a high alert. It is completely different. And while it is that an Ananda alert and a high alert will involve the police, there is a comparative difference that we need to pay attention to, right? There is a comparative difference. The Ananda alert is exclusive to children, whereas the high alert applies to both children and adults. I'm reading this, yes, from the source, right? And that would be the CPFSA website. So listen, an Ananda alert is exclusive to children. A high alert is applied to both children and adults, for example, in cases of suspected foul play, medical emergency, or abduction. The trigger mechanism for an Ananda alert that is activated automatically upon reporting a child missing. Jayden Smith's aunt and uncle did not make an initial report of Jayden as missing. They initially reported Jayden as a runaway. And there is a reason for that. Me said there is a reason for that. And I'm going to explain to you what the reason is. Me tell you say, that entire family is corrupt and evil. Because there is no reason under the sun that Jayden Smith should not have had an Ananda alert. There is no reason. So, the difference between a high alert, live and let live. The difference between a high alert, which is used for serious concern for the safety of the missing person, such as instances where they may have been snatched or threatened or run away. And an Ananda is that an Ananda triggers a national response system. It initiates an intensive and focused investigation by the police, meaning that it's all hands on deck. Whereas a high alert only lends to local investigation. You hear what I say, Tono? I wonder if you truly understand what that really means. It means that instead of Jayden Smith's picture, description, last sightings, last footage being sent through to all police stations across the country, it's kept in their locality and only their local police will look into it. Remember, we kept asking why it is that the police and the government are so silent on the matter. There are systems in place to ensure that Jayden Smith's case is kept low vibrational. Because Jayden never got an Ananda alert, Jayden's case is parked for the local investigation team only. They alone have the jurisdiction to handle it. It is not a national priority. Now, some people may not understand the depth of that. Some are not gonna get it. But that is a serious impediment on the progress of the case. Because we do not know, as much as people are speculating and people are talking, we do not know exactly what happened to Jayden and where. We don't. We have got all kinds of things to say. Because we know that the family, regardless, them not innocent. You understand? Regardless of what happened to Jayden, they're not innocent. But the mere fact that they did not push for this tells me that they were advised. Tells me that they were advised from within the realms of power how to go about this to stop things from blowing up. Now I'm going to play a recording for you. I've deliberately taken my face off and left this up because I want you to listen to this recording to understand how the Ananda system works and also to understand that it's still not a perfect system. However, by putting a child on an Ananda alert, it opens up even further budget in terms of allocated resources for the searching for that child. And I'm going to make you listen to a recording from various voluntary sector organizations about what is going on with the Ananda alert. And we're going to something that a lot of us are hesitant to talk about, but not the HTK. Make me make you listen. You understand? Let me make you listen. All right, get on a pen and paper.
People in place that if you have a problem, you can go to them. But when you go, you just go in there. I just want to know my daughter there. There's one when she there, I mean, she there, she can't remember whether she did there. So everybody's supposed to get locked up out of there. You're supposed to have under your child in your yard. And you must hear up on TV, you must hear.
Since 2006, there have been more than 12,000 people reported missing in Jamaica. Of that number, at least 188 have been found dead, and close to 2,000 have not been found. The bulk of reported cases, however, were children. Last year, with children making up more than 70% of the 2,920 people who were reported missing, there was an average of one child reported missing every 4 hours. 196 of them have not yet been found. In addition, 126 children reported missing since January of this year have yet to be located. The troubling issue of missing children in Jamaica was thrust to the fore after a spate of child abductions and murders in 2008, reaching its 0 hour in September of that year when 11-year-old Ananda Dean was found dead after going missing 11 days earlier.
Yes.
The nation reacted with shock and horror as news broke of the gruesome murder and the tragic end the young girl experienced. The outrage sparked calls for a national missing children alert program to facilitate a faster response to missing children reports. Hence, the
Come on now, graduates, we're doing serious work over here. We're asking you to please like up the live, thumbs up the live. That's the least that you can do. We do not ask for anything else over here other than that you thump up the like button so that this information can get out there. It's about raising the visibility of the live and the video. So key details, get to the right ears and the right eyes. All right, that's all we ask. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. Get us to 50 quick and fast because people need to understand. And a lot of Jamaicans do not get this. This is really important. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Let's listen.
And the alert was born. One of the partners under the Ananda Alert is Hear the Children's Cry, a non-governmental organization lobbying for greater care and protection of the nation's young. As the acting executive director, Maxine Taylor Cooper, explains, there has been an increase in the number of reported cases of missing children since the launch of the Ananda Alert. Hear the Children's Cry also launched its own missing children support program, sponsored by the Jamaica Yellow Pages 3 years ago.
Hear the Children's Cry and the Jamaica Yellow Pages Missing Children Support Program started in 2009 due to the death of Ananda Dean. Hence, our own part in having the Missing Children Support Program to assist traumatized families and also children who have gone missing and have returned home. We are trying to increase our capacity and resources to enhance the program and to be more efficient and effective in what we do. In terms of the Ananda Alert,
listen.
I am not sure we're getting 100% from it. There's, I think, a whole lot of room for improvement there. Much more can be done.
Among the areas of the program which seem to be in disarray is the system which should send photos and information on missing children to the cell phones of members of the public who have subscribed to the alerts. The line number provided on the Ministry of Local Government's website does not seem to work, while after subscribing to the alerts via Digicel, a confirmation message was received. However, over the last 2 months, for example, 353 children were reported missing, but not even a single alert was received.
I want to hear that, I need you guys to understand, right? That there are deeper areas of corruption in the government when it comes to missing children. I want you guys to realize that somebody is benefiting from this. I need you guys to wake up spiritually and intellectually to understand that it benefits somebody for the Ananda system to not work properly. When they report a child missing and it is reported under the Ananda Alert Initiative, that child's name, face, description, last sighting, supposed to end up on a messaging system that is national and also globally connected. I need you to listen. Because the Ananda Alert does not just stop in Jamaica. It extends and connects to the Amber Alert service, yes, which is international, and it is a way of tracking children who may be trafficked. Listen to me good and proper. Because the information when me a give you know can put my life at risk. But me attack. So while it is that giving Jayden Smith and Ananda Alert would have meant that they would be forced to incorporate other police activities, somebody is still ensuring that our children don't get found. Because there is no excuse under the sun for a text system to not work. Once you have subscribed to this right here, once you have subscribed to this, you are supposed to be in receipt. And this is on the CPFSA website. This is something that you're supposed to be able to register to, subscribe to it free, and you receive Ananda alerts via SMS messaging when children go missing. That is what is supposed to be the protocol. That means everybody's eyes and ears are on the ground. If them spot any child wherever they are, they can go to the nearest police station. It does not have to be the designated police station. So I am trying to say to you guys, there is a very good reason why in our small island, the Ananda system still fails and doesn't work. The only way you get an Ananda alert is online. When you go onto the Jamaica Constabulary Force website and so on, then you will see Ananda alert. Even on the CPFSA website, you will get Ananda alert. Yes? But none of the people who subscribe getting these messages. Bro Shaka. Somebody is benefiting. Now, interestingly, in this interview that I listened to, they went on to talk about whether or not child trafficking can be considered a reason why a lot of our children go missing. And that is the kind of scenario that most of these bloggers don't want to touch. Them don't want to touch it. Because rather than realizing that, yes, Jayden has been neglected and he has been neglected by his family. He should not, as a little boy, been allowed to be running up and down and roaming in a Mandeville town center without adult supervision. My 12-year-old could never. You understand? That they neglected this boy, that they possibly threatened punishment to this boy, that they overworked this boy, all of those things. We still cannot put hand on heart and say ridiculously inflated words like, them killed the boy. Because that would be unfounded. And that would be a big, big allegation without evidence. What we can say is that they are highly suspicious in their behavior, that they have told many, many lies, which imply or suggest that they do know something and they're covering up what took place to Jayden. What we need to explore is what them do. What did they do? And we have got to also explore the possibility that Jayden could have been trafficked. Now, in listening to this particular recording, they said that there is no direct link between the missing children and the possibility of trafficking because they simply have no data. Not because it's not so, because they just have no data. Do you understand? The lack of research into the connections is where it's at, and therefore it has been left up in the air. Let's see if I can play a bit more.
Attempts to get officials from the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development to comment on the state of the Ananda Alerts program proved futile. At least one partner believes the system is not working efficiently, and reports are not treated with the urgency needed to rescue the more than 300 children who have vanished since last year.
We are happy for the 90% or the 80% that return home. But we're really concerned about just each year, the 200 and others that don't come home. Nobody has ever seen or heard of. Where are they? That's the question. Where are they? What has happened to them?
How significant a link exists between trafficking and children going missing in Jamaica? The Gleaner spoke with Detective Inspector Blake of the Organized Crime Investigations Division.
That's a question that would normally come up, and we are not picking up any significant link between the two. The truth of the matter is, though, until we're able to have a more detailed assessment, then it's going to be less than accurate to come down and then in one position in the absolute sense. But let us look at the statistics. For example, last year we had 2,921 persons went missing. Of that number, there were 2,126 children involved. The ratio of male to female is about 3-1. Now, when you look at the number returning, which is 1.
Are you hearing that? Did you hear that significant piece of information? The ratio of male to female is 3-1. Why is it that these people are targeting our boys and our men? Ask yourself that crucial question. Remember, when Usain Bolt became famous internationally, he became famous for his strength, his speed, his virility. Yes. And everybody started to pay attention to Jamaica and to wonder, what are we eating in our island? Make we set so, make we stay so, make we strong so, make we have such endurance and stamina. You see, when those things hit the headlines and people start to take note, they start to stereotype a people. They start to look into how we live and how we diet. You see, when you start to see a sudden influx of these so-called influencers who are coming from first world countries to come and live in your ghettos and come and live down in the jungle, like the one named Zoe, And them come for study una like say una a lab rat because them want to know from the grassroots up how una live. Try know say this information is very much connected. Because when them get an insight into how to eat, how to drink, how to sleep, how to screw, how to exercise, everything about you know. And these influencers are facilitated with open arms because we are Mugu and we not understand. So them people are capitalists in every sense of the word, and them only come for reap and harvest whatever it is they did not sow. They put all of this information out and the traffickers eat it up. Because you become the next source of organs. You become the next source of blood. And that is a fact. You are now high interest. If you look at the Ananda alert list, the majority of the children that are missing are between the ages of 12 and 16, 17. They don't go any higher. They are between those ages when organs are at their prime. When they're at their prime. So when it is that you think it's peace and safety with your kids out on the street without any supervision at all, and that there is people who's going to look out for your kids, just know that some of the very people who are looking out for your kids are the very people who are taking a backhand payment for their disappearance. And this does not exclude Jayden Smith's family. No, it don't. Remember, you know, they had a tendency to take in extra mouths to feed. Several children passed through their hands. We've heard sly reports. We don't know how true or verified they are of people who have grown up with this family. Some have said they had a wonderful experience, and some have said it was less than glamorous. It was indeed an abusive environment. I'm not going to repeat or go into too much detail about that negative side of the story because, like I said, it's not verified. But how many other children have passed through their hands that we do not hear from today? Do you even know? Oh, no. And this is why I'm saying to you guys that even if Shanique, Mr. T, that Anne-Marie did not physically do something to Jayden, they enabled a situation so that it could take place. And they were very much part and parcel of it. The mere fact that they did not push for an Ananda alert, why didn't Jayden get an Ananda alert? The mere fact that they did not push for an Ananda alert for Jayden means that they did not care if Jayden was taken all the way to Kingston or Spanish Town. They did not care if Jayden would have been spotted in these places where they have extended family. No, them never care. They did not care about that. They wanted to keep it in Mandeville, in Manchester, so that it not gonna further. Because despite the fact that the Ananda alert system does not work when it comes to the public getting notifications, what it does is it throws it up in terms of priority. It is a heightened response in comparison to a high alert, which is all Jayden got. That is all Jayden got. Jayden got a high alert. And instead of making sure that his details were sent to every single locality for them to look, They limited it to where them have links and where them have contacts and where them have people who can stop it from going any further. They limited it to their connections. And because Jayden's mother, she not learn it about certain things, no matter how she talk. She not understand where clock a strike, yes so. She thinks that from him get that they posted the inner the star. That will suffice. And that she think, And that she think, people. That is what this poor lady thinks. She thinks that from Jade face gone in the paper. She thinks that from him face gone in the paper. That is all that matter. But she not understands that there are levels to what it is that the government will be willing to do based on how the alert goes out. That is it. That is all I'm get. A missing alert. A high alert is what it's called. And in this high alert, you know what happened? The other police, the police in a Kingston, the police in a Ochi, the police in a St. Catherine, the police in a Montego Bay, all of them police there. Them fold them hand and them no look. They don't look. Them just leave. Oh, I want mandeville for them jurisdiction, that for them locality. Straight away. It's not important enough for nationally a response to be made. Straight away, that's what them do to this little baby. Yeah. Jayden Smith got no Ananda alert because he was not considered priority. He was not considered priority. They thought, based on those false sightings, them dopey story, they would them tell people about how Jayden gets sighted in a bush and Jayden just disappear and run away like that. Jayden just disappear like that. They thought that based on this information alone, Jayden Smith was a little naughty runaway. Jayden Smith was a little naughty runaway. In bright so till him start the problem. So nobody now look for Jayden anywhere else other than over in the corner there. And this is how children can easily get trafficked. Because during the crucial and the critical initial moments, those first 24 hours where transporting of the body is essential, that is when that alert can make a world of a difference. World of a difference. But they instead kept the eyes only in their locality, which would have allowed Jayden to be transported beyond where we are even looking. Taken out of the country without a single soul raising an alarm. Because even if they decided to traffic Jayden via plane, all them have to do, I fling out one hat pan him, one false document, And Jayden I get tell story, said Jayden, you go foreign, left them people away overwork you. Gone. Different name, everything, because the value of a traffic child is far more than those documents. Don't forget that there's the option of going by boat. Don't forget them thing there. But what would allow Jayden to disappear like that? A total setup. It is either that he has been being observed over time and it was planned, or it was executed by a devious mind, a sick mind who stood to benefit financially from the situation. I thought about the things that Shanique was saying. And I said, wow. She went and bought a ticket immediately, right? Then she buy a return ticket immediately. And she had a return ticket not just for her, but also for her baby. Remember, she said that it was for the intention that as soon as she landed, them would have turned right back with the baby and fly back out because she was taking her baby where the baby could get priority care, better care. Only to be told that the baby can't travel. Now, how you as a nurse don't understand that it is impossible for a child with a broken femur to fly is beyond me and highly suspicious. Because you as a qualified nurse practitioner supposed to know that there would be flight risks involved when it comes to any broken limb. And that within the first 24 to 48 hours, traveling with that baby is a no-no. You're supposed to know that. Me, as an ordinary person on the street, know that much less. Which is why I said that there were big questions around that so-called broken femur and her story about KFC. Shanique, I suspect that whatever it is took place in that timing that you went to KFC. Because there was no KFC. That KFC was thrown in there to fill a time gap. That was a alibi. To fill a time gap. You went to do whatever it is that you needed to do. Because you seem to have a lot of surplus funds floating around to be able to jump up and take flight willy-nilly, buy tickets that you don't even use. And them not so cheap. They're not so cheap. You understand? So you would have had to have disregarded that ticket or changed the return date, which would have cost you money as well. You would have had to purchase additional seating because if it is that your child had a broken femur, that child would have needed an extra seat or two to be able to be comfortable, because they certainly cannot sit upright in the chair in a no cast. Them need to lay down sideways. All of this shows me that this story about the femur, which to date we can't see Zaire in a no cast. We can't see no evidence of a broken femur. We all hear Demara say, oh, him break him femur. Like 15-year-old boy Pitney in Jamaica, no nothing but broke femur. From country much less. Them would have simply say broken foot. All of the family them well coached on this broken femur. Why did Jayden Smith not have an Ananda alert? I am asking the family that claim that they love Jayden Smith so much. Why didn't you push for an Ananda alert? You painted a story that Jayden was missing, but what you did when you went to the police station was different to what you did in the public eye. When you went to the police, you never report Jayden missing. Your report said Jayden run away. Your report said Jayden run away. The same donkey story then what you tell we about how in take one whole heap of money all time thing and rain, you know, he took out $2,000 and then I gave him $1,500, so he had quite a bit of money and you see them same story there? At the same story there, you carry go to the police station and make the police them think say, oh, a bad boy man. Him just go buy up some food and run away man. Wouldn't have beat him? No. But him did up and down with some friend, you know. We tell Jayden say if you call straight to man in a home, you dumbed it down. Because you never want people to start to look. Only remind me of the Hansel and Gretel story. Only remind me of the Hansel and Gretel story. When Hansel and Gretel went into the forest and saw the gingerbread house. and thought that the gingerbread house was full of goodies. And when they started to eat, and this old lady came out, looking so plump and nice, and going, "Oh, you want some more? I've got sweets, I've got treats inside." And then she lowered them in at them house. Then she locked them in a one cage. And she fattened them, but she never could have see very well. And luckily for Hansel and Gretel, them were clever. And them extend a stick instead of their hand. Make the woman say, "Oh, even though me a fat, no, not get fat. Uno still too skinny," and them outsmart her till them manage to escape. But in this case, Jayden Smith, he wasn't given a chance, because the way Uno paint a picture as though nothing was going to be wrong. Uno travel back and forth every minute. For a humble family, what a way Uno can afford things. You know, so easy for you fly, so. Has anybody ever looked into this family's finances and how it is that they're able to travel so often? And what else is going on behind their travel? And who else is helping them to travel? And what connections they may have to people in the trafficking ring? And I'm saying it blatantly. Have you ever considered that? Because there are some questions around affordability. What kind of job do you have, Anne-Marie? An RN nurse can't just be paying for all of this. Plus, she got 2 kids. Something not right. Because me know richer people, we can't just bounce like that, travel many times. Why did Jayden Smith not get an Ananda alert? It is an essential question, because without this SMS subscription, many people would not have known. Without this trigger mechanism, the police outside of Mandeville would not have known, or at least even if they're aware of it, they will not look, because there are no resources allocated. And everything boils down to the almighty dollar and the almighty penny. And they make sure on purpose that Jayden never get one. Them stick him with a high alert just so them can make a big fancy show in a them labor right vicinity. For show that, "Oh, look at what we're doing for our children when they go missing," and it become this kind of case that they put on. Me say, if you did see somebody sinting them people, somebody video them, when them post for show, so them a look for Jayden, see? All kind of fancy music in a background and drone up in the sky. Kind of something. And the man them in a uniform are going a bush with dog. Them make it look bossy. Them make it look like, say, look at our people work for our children. Who does it benefit when the Ananda alert system doesn't work and many people receive no alerts when these children go missing, so that the ordinary man on the street who would have volunteered to receive this information to be guardians and community soldiers, they never get an alert. So when these children go missing, the only people who know about it is the police. And if they choose to drag their feet, there is room for corruption and room for people to not know that our children are missing. Why is it that Jayden didn't even get that? Wanna stick him with the local police only, and that child's body could be being transported throughout the island to the coasts. and nobody would have been looking. Total corruption. Total corruption. You think a joke? Let me go through some of the comments. Let me go through some of the comments. One could develop a blood clot having such an injury, then to play in fly is not permitted. Exactly, Lala. I don't know how she as a nurse never know that. And all of a sudden now she can find help for the children, but before she didn't have help. Exactly. All of a sudden now Shani can bring home her kids. You know, it's no longer a burden. Before it was such a burden. 130 of you on the live. Please to like up the live. We've got 71 likes. The least that you guys can do is get this to 100. Like up the live, please, and bump up the algorithm. If you don't know how to do it, double tap the screen and it will like up the live, or press the 3 buttons at the top and hit the like button. All right, please and thanks. Jayden will not get justice if the police and the government doesn't play their part. They haven't. I've already proven to you guys how they took the so-called petition and turned it into a puppy show. They put the so-called petition on the petition website, the office of the deputy prime minister's website. When people were clicking on it days before that petition was due to be closed, they were getting broken link, unable to sign. I asked the question again. Who does it benefit for the Ananda alert system not to work? Who does it benefit to make sure that there is a percentage of our missing children who never get an Ananda alert? Because whoever stands to gain, that's where the government need to look if they're interested in removing this corruption and solving the problem with our missing children. If they ever want to solve the problem, look to who stands to gain from the missing kids. Because somebody in a position of power is negotiating with traffickers. Somebody in a position of power is making sure that our kids never get found. Somebody up there who holds the reins is allowing a mighty blood sacrifice to take place right under our noses. There is no excuse for the Ananda alert system of text messages, SMS messages not to work. There is no excuse for it. And the fact that even these people from the press went to find out why and they received no response goes to show you that they don't care. But regardless of the text messages not working, the biggest letdown for Jayden and why it is that Jayden was allowed to go missing and the rest of the country not up in arms. See it there? See it there? No Ananda alert. None. He got high alert only. And that means if they had a family member in the police, remember say them have family in the police, you know, people we can pinch them and tell them, say, make it look like he run away. No, make it look like, say, sitting, you know, make it look like he run away. And that way we can keep it right just so. And it now go no further. You don't know which police is involved if there is trafficking involved where Jayden is concerned. You don't know who is trying to keep it quiet, who is getting their cut of the pie. A lot of these children start off as runaways too, and then end up in situations like this. And I am telling you that it is a very deliberate ploy of the family members to not get an Ananda alert for Jayden. It was deliberate that they gave him a high alert to keep it local, to block the budget from opening up other resources, to look beyond the spaces and the boundaries of where he was last seen. There is a reason why the government is silent on it, and it is because there is no Ananda alert. It is because no money is there. It is because it is stuck in one locality. That is why people like Andre won't touch it. That's why it is not considered a case of national priority. It's local priority only. And this family did not advocate for Jayden at all. And that just points to how much they did not like the child. Because any family, any mother who had the know-how, and any family that truly loved a child that went missing would have tear out them belly until them get the Ananda alert. Look at the lady in England. The fact that there was no Ananda alert was a big problem for her. She tried everything to get it. And all they kept giving her was high alert. Why? Because it's the child's biological mother take it and gone. Despite the fact that the court gave them both shared custody, the two lesbian couple. And because our system is homophobic, we're not doing a rainbow thing. We just say, well, the woman wants her pitney and she gone left you. It's better for the child. And even though she really, really wanted it, she never got that. Why? Why did she really want it? Because she knew if she got it, the Ananda alert feeds into the Amber alert. And if it is that that mother with that little girl crossed boundaries, it would flag. She would have been arrested at the ports as a kidnapper. So when you see our children not getting Ananda alerts and some getting high alert as opposed to Ananda, don't take it lightly. Somebody stands to benefit. Somebody did this deliberately. Somebody wanted to make sure Jayden got no priority. Somebody wanted to keep this in the family of Manchester, Mandeville. Them no want it gonna further. Somebody wanted to keep things hush-hush where they could corrupt it and manipulate it. Somebody stood to gain. Why? And none of you can tell me why. Why did Jayden get no Ananda alert? Because they tried to paint a story that he was a runaway boy. And even if he did, he still could have had an Ananda alert. You still could have gotten everybody involved beyond just where you guys live. You never pushed for him. You never cared. You wanted it to go away and you wanted it to go cold. And this makes me wonder if you very much knew, Shanique, that Jayden was not in your locality. That Jayden done gone far from where they were looking. You never got to know KFC. Not with a child with a broken femur. We're not stupid. You never got to know KFC. Either that or your pitney, femur, no broke. But something's off with those two details, they don't marry up. A child with a broken femur is all casted up. You taking him to St. Anne, did you take him with the cast or without? Why would you travel without? That child would be in excruciating pain. You can't tell me, say, that the picnic there with cast is going to want KFC and chips when he can't even do it properly. My language, but you know what I mean? A baby. He would have to be on liquid and soft food. I say a nurse came on and she broke it down in my comments on the last video. And she explained that that child would have been irritable, groggy, in pain. No KFC would have want to enter that the picnic stomach. When them asked Mr. T, how is the baby? Oh, he's just a little uncomfortable, but he's okay, he's recovering. He looks so awkward. Like, don't make them ask me nothing more about the baby because me might have miss up. How is it that this baby is okay after a broken femur? He's in a little discomfort. He's supposed to be in a lot of discomfort. And on a little thing. On a story don't add up at all. A private jet they took out of Jamaica. Because how nobody had seen them on the plane. Hey! Now we're talking, Kay. Well done for this research. Big up yourself. I want to understand why it is that these people did not push for an Ananda alert for this little boy. Why did you just give him a high alert? Why was he not considered priority? Why was it not considered a possibility that Jayden is no longer in that vicinity? You gave abductors time to take that child away. Because no police in other jurisdictions would have noticed or looked or bothered. You would have to take one way act out a character. You removed other localities from their involvement and you stuck to just your small little community. Only in a them place they wanna look. You let down Jayden and you did it on purpose. And the mother don't have a clue that this is what wanna do. This is the sad part. She has got no clue that this is what you guys did. It was on purpose. It was on purpose. And we're not going to stop until we find out why. Why? This is why them people, they organize them march and them say Jayden no matter. As much as I did see me laughing at the life there, people, my heart did break. My heart did break. I am the kind of person that take bad thing make joke. But it means I may not feel it, you know. Because afterwards, when I come off of the live, I say backside. Them really said them I go take the something them for Jayden and dash away. So this thing couldn't involve Jayden too, just because feelings are carry people. I wouldn't touch it with a badge pole. Good luck to them. It's a great initiative, but that part, me not like that. Okay, the other families matter too. But so does Jayden. So does Jayden. But that's how it go. And when you not have no talk in a situation, you can't say nothing else. You understand? You have to just allow that. Because I know your purse strings. And I know you are go down to Jamaica and I drive no Range Rover. The things that frighten people. I thank God for the way I was raised. Them think they no budge me, you know. The little girl who gave Jayden his umbrella. Dad is a wicked boy to HDK. He knew all along and kept quiet. But come out when he saw his picture on Tiger Life. Somebody need to hold on to one of them close family members until them talk. Let me not tell you. But we're not going to take the law in our hands. But the law is not doing it what the law is supposed to do, is it? You understand? Right? It's really sad to see that Jayden Smith's mother and father really also failed him big time. They already prefer to not stand up caring for him. So those that so-called take him know it. Yeah. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't want to admit. because they think it's about bashing the mother and stuff. We're not bashing, it's reality. When a parent gives up a child to a family member that is less responsible because he's a known drunkard. It's not like say Jayden's father was a businessman or him a run taxi and him a making little money and him have him little hustle. This man is a drunkard and has been a drunkard, a layabout, a lazy lout from as far back as whenever. So when it is that I listen to Jayden's mother talk about how, yes, she gave the child to, she never gave away the pitney, that's a fact. She gave the child to the father, that's a fact. The father is also responsible, that's a fact. But is he corpus mentis? Is he capable when he's under liquids every single day? He is not a responsible parent to hand Jayden over to. So it was only a matter of time that Jayden would have ended up in the hands of Andrew and Mr. T and God knows who else. Because this man always a room and a drink. You know, here says Shanique say a $1,000 the man give from the time they have gin. First she come out and you know the first live what she do? When she talk about, oh, I am the cousin of Jayden Smith and she do her face so and I hear them so. And she said, you know, his parents were at the search, you know, the arrangement was that Jayden would stay with my mother and my stepfather and whatever. And they've always contributed to Jayden's lie tell right they say no. And they contribute financially, which they have been lie. And then she come on another live and say $1,000. $1,000 the father give from the start of Jayden being with them till now. Him is a what list. So you see, when it was realized that this man could not play a responsible role in Jayden's life, I bet Andrew need to go back for her pitney. She shouldn't sit down and wait for them to bring Jayden back. This was a little child that she described as somebody who was protective of her, who threw stones at a man that was putting them on the pitney mother. She was there and he stepped up like a man at her side to protect her from an abusive relationship. Now imagine that he gets that worked up over somebody possibly harming his mother. And then his mother take him and say, eh. And she wonder why. She not have no memory of Jayden that she can recount in the time. Because you see what Demar said? Let me tell you something. You see what Demar said? That when Jayden see mother he run or him go on the other side and attack, it's the truth. And how I know it's the truth? Because the cousin on the mother side confirmed it. She said Jayden was poisoned against the mother side. That is how they're interpreting it. But I am seeing a different thing. Jayden resented his situation. He resented being apart from his siblings. He resented being apart from his mother. And that guilt is probably going to hurt her and break her heart. But it's the truth. Hey, Anne. Andreen was probably afraid of the drunken man. Perhaps he used to be violent to Andreen and he gave her no choice. Oh, Andreen for afraid of the drunken man. Lala, let me challenge that. Oh, Andreen for be afraid of the drunken man. Andreen go take up Coolie man. Coolie man. A day with Andreen and a mine Jayden. That sound like a woman with afraid. No. Not at all. Because if it was a case of something like that, them kind of man that you can't just walk away from and go there with somebody as have that other person there around them, you know. It not gonna work. So she ain't afraid. Why two of my comments did not go on just now? I didn't use any disrespect. So why? Anne-Marie, I don't know. As you can see, my hands are here. So I am not the one to ask. And I don't see anything being deleted by my admin. I'm scrolling up. and I see nothing deleted by my admin. It quite possibly is filtered out by YouTube. I don't know why. Jayden got the shit end of the stick. This is so sad. Justice for Jayden. Yes, ESR Willocks. Yes, he did. Yes, he definitely did. Right? So I don't know. I don't know why it is that he got no Ananda alert. That's because he would get into trouble if he spoke to his mother. It is possible that too. It is possible that too. But I know that Jayden would have been feeling things. It can't be easy to be in a situation like that. And knowing that his mother have 6 other siblings, 6 other youth in her house. If she's struggling, what one more I gotta do? One more, and it's like say him look on himself, so she see me as the straw that break the camel back. And she have others that are even more dependent. But remember, you know, Andreen also made it clear that it was not she who volunteered to give Jayden up. That's why I said to you, look into this trafficking thing. It was them who stepped up and said, can we take him off you to relieve your stress? And I said, look into this trafficking thing. Look into it. Because it is not far-fetched and it is not impossible. But either way, take it. The lies, the twists, the turns. Bro Shaka. Bro Shaka, terrible. Bro Shaka said maybe it wasn't meant to be seen, no, sir. Bro Shaka, you get so much problem, my youth. You can't behave yourself. You can't behave yourself in our people and place. They're trying to take HTK page down because she's talking facts. I don't like that about HTK, but she ain't going anywhere. That's it. She's gonna be on this case until some sort of closure. You're damn right. I see because I've travel for a long time because still right. So I go and talk up the things and no business. You understand? Anyway, people, we spent quite a bit of time, right? Please, as you exit this live stream, I'd like you to like up the live, right? Like up the live as you exit, and of course, drop your purple hearts. We now stop say, Justice for Jayden Smith. We are going to be asking the critical questions, revisiting the essential bits of information that we may have missed. And this is definitely something big that we missed. Yep. Why no Ananda alert for Jayden Smith? You knew what you were doing, but God not sleep. And neither are us bloggers. We're not sleeping on this case. All right? Because a drunken man is out of control. Yeah, but so was it the coolie man too. So it look like it's a habit with Andreen. She chose this bad man. You understand? Big up on yourself, guys. Thank you so much for the purple hearts. This is your girl, Hey Teacher K, and I'm out. Bye.